The age-old question, to rack or not to rack? We're going to discuss this on Brad C TV today. I've already safety checked this weapon, but just because it's fun to rack a slide, let's check it out. Everything's clear, and we're all clear. Yeah. Just keep in mind, folks, everybody's got their own opinion. You're defending your own house. You're responsible for what you decide to do. So if you want to rack a slide, you go for it. If you don't want to rack a slide, you go for it. But let's talk about the positives and negatives of racking a slide. First of all, quite obviously, this noise is very recognizable to the ears of pretty much anybody in the world. If you closed your eyes and walked into a room and I said, "What's this?" you'd have a good idea that you might be staring down the barrel of a gun. Even if you're not a gun person, you probably would know that sound. First, let's talk about why you might want to rack a slide. As we've already discussed, it's a sound that's going to put fear into people's hearts. There's no doubt about that. I mean, anybody that's trying to argue and say, well, that's not going to scare anybody. No, it will scare somebody. It's almost a guarantee unless they're insane. Let's say you are a single man, you're living by yourself, and you have decided that if it comes between you and somebody that's come in to rob you or even kill you, that you're going to try to scare them, but in reality, you're not going to pull the trigger and you're actually not going to kill anybody. If that's you, and that should be a very rare amount of people, then yes, you should rack the slide, try to scare somebody off. It might very well work. Now, there's several middle ground options you could take. You can put anything from rock salt to double aught buck in this. I mean, it just depends on how much stopping power you want to have and what you're planning to do. So let me make that clear. In my humble opinion, if you have decided that you are not going to take someone's life and you're only using this to scare them, then yes, your best option is to try to scare them away by racking the slide, intimidate them with a slide, whatever you're planning on doing. Now, for the rest of you, from the single man to the man that's got a wife to the man that's got 12 kids and a wife, you are not going to let someone come in and take a chance on robbing and maybe killing them, or worse. There are worse things than killing people, you know. So when somebody comes into your house to rob, you don't know they're coming in to rob. No one comes in and says, hello, we're only here to rob you. You know, that's just not the way it works. Somebody starts breaking into your house, you have no idea what they're going to do. Obviously, call 911 immediately. No matter what your decision, 911 is the first thing you want to do. Make sure you know all your state and local laws. If you have the castle doctrine, you're in good shape. Make sure that you understand the castle doctrine. So you hear someone breaking into your house. You call 911. Hopefully you've got a plan for exactly where everyone in your house is going to meet up. If you don't, you need to devise that. You need to find a place where you can, I don't want to say barricade yourself in, because it's your house, and under the castle doctrine, you don't have to do that. But you're smart to get yourself hidden down, you know, to where you've got a bed or maybe a dresser or something to shield you from gunfire, to where you can lean over to and open fire on them if you need to. You want to find the ideal location in your house. Just think of it this way. If you were trying to get the drop on someone in your house, where would be the perfect place to be at? And they come moseying in, and you're right there to have the drop on them. That's where you want to be. A lot of you are going to recommend that you have a gun already loaded and one already racked into the chamber. And I know plenty of people that do this in my family, but I am not one of them. That is not my decision. Now, do I think that might be a smart thing to do? In the right situation, it might be. You always have to figure out your situation. You know, when you start telling people online or anywhere that they need to do things a certain way, just remember, some people live with smaller kids, and some people live with people that are coming in their house that are not properly trained with smaller kids. And that's even worse. You know, when I was growing up, we knew you were not to touch a gun unless someone gave it to you to use or to practice with, or they taught you how to use it, but you just didn't go picking up guns. We're going to take this from the stance of me, the way I do it. With me, all my guns are the same way. The safety is off. My Glocks obviously don't even have a safety, but everything else, safety's always off, and it's always loaded, but there's not one actually into the chamber. It's not racked in. It is just ready. If you're already past that point, then obviously skip the step. Somebody's breaking in. You hear them breaking in. You know they're breaking in. First of all, make sure it's actually somebody breaking in. Then I would rack my slide. I would load it up. Now I'm ready to go. Now, remember, you never put your finger on the trigger. You see my finger here? It's way back here. It's not even up here. It's not even ready. But I've got this slide racked, and I'm ready to go. Now I'm getting to my safe position. And me personally, I'm not going to make any noise. They're not going to hear me. And then depending on the situation, we're going to go from there. If there is one guy, and I am sure there's one guy, I might handle it differently. Always remember though, you never know for sure there's only one guy. But if you do know for sure there's 2 or 3 or 4, and you can see they're armed, then you're going to handle it differently as well. There are some situations where you are going to know that you need to have the drop on someone. And I'm not going to take it any further than that, because that's not the argument here of what to do when they come in. That would be a hornet's nest for me to try to step into. So I'm not going to go that far in this video. I'm just going as far as racking the slide. But I want to make something clear. Do not think that if armed men come in your house and they hear a slide rack, they're just going to run. You do not know that. In fact, even an unarmed man, he may hear that slide rack and just go crazy. He may get scared for his life and try to kill you. I mean, it's just that simple. Don't think that a rack slide is just going to strike fear in their heart and they're just going to melt. That's not the way it's going to work. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope to keep this lighthearted. I know I got pretty serious there, but just remember, everybody's got their own ideas for how to defend their house. Stay tuned. My next video is going to be, should you use a laser on an intruder? If you want to see some of the mods that I've made to this gun, I'll put a link in the info section. And as always, you can check me out at bradctv.com.